to come out from the theater. So I have like just like I have your fresh picture. I have your fresh picture. Like when you were barely an hour. Just like I have your fresh picture. You were barely an hour. Just say last screen. All those pictures they just say or their wedding news. Just say last screen. You play all their baby pictures so that when they are forming the journey. When you don't go through something, it's different. You can never really. You can't tell, but the journey is parents is different for different people. For Nima, it is the best day. So happy challenge. That's amazing. That's Kaya was also born down finally to start recording weeks now. I was celebrating her birthday as well. I plan to record. I got to sit down finally to start materials already, but just sit down and record. I plan to record 3 years the second one when materials already. My just sit down and record. And finish second one when my destiny to record only 2 today. I'll find another time and record. And my destiny to record only 2 today. I'll find another time and record. Not everybody has been able to register, which I understand. If you have registered, so we are ready to carry. Not everybody has been able to register, which I understand. Training where I finished now, and so we are ready to. The course is ongoing. Any time of the year your child is ready, you are ready. Where I finished now, and that's it. And also there's a surprise that will be accompanying your child is ready. You are ready. You can get into the course. And also there's a surprise that will be accompanying the course very soon. It's been a long time really for me this period. I really don't share when I'm going through stuff. But it's been a low time really for me this period. I really don't share when I'm going through stuff. But I'm happy that God is taking affected.
And you're so shining.
It's not affected.
All right, let's do a short break now. All right, let's do a short break now. When we come back, we'll take the newspaper reviews. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Starting the newspaper reviews with The Nation. A major headline. End banditry. Welcome back. We'll be starting the newspaper reviews with The Nation. A major headline. Arms control law banditry killings now. Security possessed by Interior Minister. Ribadu. Tinubu signed control law. Presidency counters cooker. Security possessed by 99 illegal refineries found. Tinubu signed peace accord. Presidency counters cooker. Jamb unveils 99 illegal refineries found to 35 PLWs held in 1 week. Dangote cancels plan to boost education access to PLWS. Cameroon begins release of water from Lagdo Dam. Below cost price. Rivers PDP elders tackle Ada George. Cameroon begins release of water from Lagdo Dam. What stories we have in The Nation? Rivers PDP elders tackle Ada George for attacking Wiki.
Crude oil thieves have been apprehended by security agents, and they've been about 35 for prosecution. So this was revealed in a documentary entitled War on Crude Oil Theft for 7th to 13th of September 2024. And this was done by NMPCL. And they say that the period that's under review, that's short period, 7th to 13th, security operatives uncovered 36 illegal pipeline connections and 99 illegal refineries. Wow. They said there is an intricate process, to be able to do that, and it will take time. For them to have had the time to do all that.
Nobody saw?
No one saw. In the Niger Delta region from different incidences of security operatives of Tantita Security Services. They said that 32 incidents were recorded in the Western Corridor, 61 in the Central, 77 in Eastern, and 48 in the Deep Blue Water. The documentary also said that at Uswamini, 2 in River State, 4 oil illegal pipelines hidden and connected to the crude oil line were exposed. How the time it took them to have connected that. I mean, I'm imagining there is an intricate process, to be able to do that, and it will take time. For them to have had the time to do all that.
Nobody saw?
No one saw, no one said anything. Whew. Anyway,
they are working.
They are working on it. They are investigating. They are catching them. They are handing them over to the police.
Yeah, thank God.
Where we are.
Ramatu, you have.
Okay, so I have the dam gist. They said the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency wishes to notify the general public that the authorities of the Lagdo Dam in Cameroon have communicated to the agency that they will initiate controlled water releases at a rate of 100 cubic meter per second. Total will be 8,640,000 cubic meter per day, starting Friday, 17th September 2023. They said the water discharge is anticipated to progressively escalate to 1,000 cubic meter per second over the next 7 days, based on the inflow from the upstream Garua River, which serves as the primary source into the reservoir and a significant tributary to the Benue River. They said the dam operators have indicated that the planned water discharges will be gradual to avoid surpassing the conveyance capacity of the Benue River system and triggering substantial flooding. They said, however, there is no cause for alarm, so we shouldn't panic. But he said it's of utmost importance for all states bordering the Benue River system, namely that's Adamawa, Taraba, Benue, Nasarawa, Kogi, Edo, Delta, Anambra, Bayelsa, Cross River and Rivers, along with the government, to heighten their vigilance and implement appropriate preparedness measures to mitigate potential flooding impacts that may arise due to the increase in flow levels of the major rivers during this period. At least we should try and avoid it so that it won't be like what has happened in Maiduguri.
Yeah.
I even saw in the on X these people, Dubai, bringing foods and all of that.
Yes, so they are supporting Nigeria.
Supporting
humanitarian
the flood victims at Maiduguri.
I want to take the Dangote story. So this is from the perspective of
that
this
will address these things, especially
talking about the
availability would
Dangote
be
can sell
discussed,
quality would also be discussed, and that if they are making that assurance in difference to the amount of money and the amount of money and in standard business corresponding with what it costs them to produce, then there should be no complaint. You should enjoy the benefits, and over time, if the climate, general climate changes, we should see a drop in price. The market forces.
So the federal government has directed.
The climate is marked by high. Currently in Nigeria, there is high fuel price, there's scarcity of fuel, there's uncertainty regarding availability of fuel, and the Dangote refinery is promising that it will address these things. Especially availability will be discussed, quality would also be discussed, and if they are making that assurance in deference to the amount of money, and the amount of money is corresponding with what it costs them to produce, then there should be no complaint. We should enjoy the benefits, and over time, if the climate general climate changes, we should see a drop in prices. Yeah.
So the federal government has directed universities, polytechnics, and other tertiary institutions in the country to offer direct admission to candidates with disabilities, but those candidates will have to meet the minimum admissible scores in the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Admission, that's examination, that's the UTME for their chosen programs. So the government said the decision is in line with its target of enrolling 825,000 students with disabilities in the next 5 years. It said the plan also demonstrated its unwavering commitment to realizing equal access to education for all Nigerians, irrespective of their physical status. So the Minister of State for Education, Dr. Yusuf, gave the directive yesterday in Abuja at the maiden African Regional Conference on Equal Opportunity of Access to Higher Education, hosted by the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, that's JAMB. And he said the move was part of government's commitment to ensuring education for all, especially for people with disabilities across the country. So now they are able to get into universities without having to write. Once their scores meet up to the standard and the course they want to read, they don't need to go writing those examinations again. And I think it's a good one. I did a bit of work on
something like that in my master's in education, where we wanted to talk about balancing out education in such a way that even the persons with living, are mingled into. It's called inclusive education, where they have access to education at the normal level instead of putting them in special schools, so that even children get used to them. As you become an adult, you understand that this person is part of us. Exactly.
Wow, that's very good.
And all of that. Let's move on now to the punch. Oh, I think we'll have to take a short break here. I didn't see the time. When we come back, the newspaper reviews continue. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
When you wake up in the morning, you want to start your day. Start with Kellogg's, It is tasty and nutritious. That's why we start our days with Kellogg's, So you can reach your days, stay active and alert. Start your day right, 'cause breakfast time is Kellogg's time. You can reach your days, stay active and alert. Start your day right, 'cause breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
I always want what's best for my family. That's why we ensure we start our day with a Kellogg's breakfast, fortified with essential vitamins and minerals to stay active and alert to reach your goals.
Breakfast time is Kellogg's time. So creamy, tastes better with cremella.
Enjoy the deliciously rich taste of Cremella Creamer.
For any other choice of meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, even between meals.
It's hard to resist the deliciously rich taste of Cremella. It tastes better with Cremella.
No buy am. But why? No see say this big bull bag of rice no get the new big bull holographic seal. Not true.
Introducing the Big Bull Holographic Seal Tape, your favorite authentic Big Bull rice, 50 kg and 25 kg. Now with holographic seal tape. This is to ensure you get the premium product from Big Bull rice. Do not buy if the holographic seal tape is not on the bag or is broken. Big Bull rice. Tasty rice nourished you.
Imagine lovely meals you can cook with these ingredients. You spend heavily, but no guarantee of a tasty meal. Not making a right choice of seasoning cube can ruin your meal, money, and confidence. For a tasty meal, do not compromise. Choose Gold.
Use Terra Gold for the rich, consistent taste your loved ones crave for. Good for soups, stews, and jollof. Terra Gold. 1 cube, endless possibilities.
Personnel, backup police team, Welcome back. We'll be taking the punch now. Major headline. That's 5,000 cops arrive Edo as joint forces begin patrol. Military, NSCDC, EFCC, personnel, backup police team. INEC tracks ballot box movements. 20 governors borrow fresh 446 billion naira as revenues tumble. 3 marketers to import 141 million liters of petrol. How federal government earned 1.29 billion from telecom licenses. That's $29 billion. Police parade 2,740 suspected kidnappers, others with 4,087 ammunition rounds. PDP shifts neck, meeting over state's Congress crisis. 3 Oyo students remanded for allegedly causing colleague's death. Federal government alerts 11 states as Cameroon plans to Lagdo Dam release.
I have the picture story. So the Nigerian police force on Tuesday said the police men deployed across the country had arrested over 2,398 suspects in the recent months. They gave a breakdown. They said 259 were arrested for armed robbery, 186 suspected kidnappers, We have here 271 murder, homicide suspects, 71 suspects for unlawful possession of firearms, 199 suspects for sexual-related offenses, of 143 suspects arrested for cultism, and so on and so forth. A total number of firearms recovered stands at 185, with a total number of over 4,000 ammunition of various caliber recovered, 111 vehicles, and 129 kidnapped victims. Many times we ask, what's the police doing? So sometimes, we take it in the papers where they give us like a breakdown of what they've done in a period under review. So well done. I mean, when you look at it holistically that way, so well done. But they also are reporting that a particular Abuja-based DJ, Raymond Teva, has been arrested by intelligence response team for allegedly purchasing expensive drinks and other goods using fake alerts. So once he does that, he now gives the goods to intermediaries to sell it for him.
And then he recovers the money.
Yes. But unfortunately for him, our intelligent police caught him. Yeah.
Amazing. Which other stories do you have?
Okay, so we're talking about the police. At least let's celebrate them finish. A 36-year-old man who was, this one is based on the efforts of police as well as citizenry involvement. So this 36-year-old man, Aminu Shenaki, on Tuesday was arraigned in court for allegedly abducting a child. And the defendant, he was found to have taken this child. The child, they didn't mention the child's age, was just on the 7th of September, so this is pretty fast, and they were able to find that it was not police that found him. They said people around saw him with a child and apprehended him and questioned him and reported him to the police, and the police found out that he was with a child belonging to Mrs. Kausarat Olaigbe, and he's been taken to court. He pled not guilty. They've given him bail, but I'm just happy that it was within a short time. All this has happened within September, and that means we're shortening the curve between when the process starts and when justice is being served.
That's good. Okay, so I have the three marketers to import 141 million liters. They said three major oil marketers are expecting vessels of imported premium motor spirits, that's petrol, this week. They said dealers said about 141 million liters of PMS are being conveyed to Nigeria by the vessels following the full deregulation of the downstream oil sector by the federal government. They said the marketer who spoke to our correspondent in confidence due to lack of authorization said on the matter, stated that each vessel will bring in about 35,000 metric tons of PMS. This means that three dealers are expecting about 105,000 metric tons of PMS this week. And, they said this came as the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority declared that all imported PMS will be subjected to at least 3 major tests by the agency before being allowed to sail across the country. And we also know that NNPC got petrol from Dangote and they plan to sell at 1,000 naira per liter in the far north. And then they said it's going to be as high as 1,019 naira in Borno State and 999 in Abuja, Sokoto, Kano, and others.
I still don't understand why we are importing. Dangote said they can satisfy Nigeria's needs. Is it because of the price?
Let's see how it goes. So the oil rivers and other areas in the south, 960 per liter. And then they said it's only Lagos that is cheap, is getting the cheapest rate. It's going for 950.
Close past borders.
Yes. 950 naira. But I'm very sure some filling stations will sell at 1,000. At least that's the aim, I think.
Let's move on now to the Daily Sun. We don't have time. Major headline, PDP, Bala Mohammed Des Wike tells FCT Minister, I have enough water to quench your fire. Enugu government, Jelfa Group signed 40 billion naira deal to revitalize moribund Sunrise Mills. Hardship in Nigeria getting out of control, Abdul Salami tells federal government. Flood threats, NDDC builds multi-purpose emergency shelters. Nigeria unveils reforms to enhance energy security, attract investment. Clark Hill's Dangote refinery calls for continued government support. Ex-Sokoto Governor Bafarawa donates 1 billion naira to states. What stories do we have in Daily Sun? Okay, let me quickly take the NDDC. The Managing Director of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, Samuel Oboku, said the commission is building 6 multi-purpose emergency shelters in Bayelsa, Delta, and River states for the internally displaced persons in the event of the flood in the Niger Delta region. So Ogboku spoke during a press conference at the NDDC headquarters in Port Harcourt yesterday, and he said the commission was taking proactive steps to ameliorate the impact of the perennial flood in the region. The chief executive officer also observed the project was conceived as a response to the frequent flooding and challenges faced by the Niger Delta region. He said the facilities at the emergency center would include essential amenities such as school, hospital, cafeteria, police post, recreation center, which will provide comprehensive support for the communities in time of distress. And he went ahead to explain that we have 6 of these facilities currently under construction in Otupoti, Odi in Bayelsa State. The ones in Delta State are going to be built in Patani, or they are building already in Patani and Ozoro, another 2 in Rivers State. And they are, assuring the commission that they are going to intensify efforts to help communities, especially in these flood-prone areas, to see how they can have a semblance of their life, even with the flood ravaging the area. So I think it's a good one. It's just that we need continuity. It's not just to start now. Once the rain stops, everybody will run away. Yeah. We need continuity. We need sustainability. We need to. There are certain things that we need. Consistency. Thank you. That's the last word I was looking for.
Okay. So I have the story of Abdul Salam. That's the former president to address. He said federal government should address the Nigerians' economic hardship. He said. He expressed concern over Nigeria's worsening economic situation, calling on the federal government to take immediate action. He noted that the hardship is getting out of control, with many struggling to afford basic necessities. The issue of transportation, fuel hikes, school fees, and lack of funds is making life difficult for everyone. And then he said he advocated for a collaborative effort between federal, state, and local government to alleviate the economic hardship. He now suggested that they should flood communities with food and sell it at lower prices. And I'm like, please, enough of shinkafa, enough of rice. They should flood the place with other corn. There's maize, there's guinea corn, and all other stuff.
We need something to cook the rice.
Exactly, and they just need to reduce the cost of transportation.
Yeah. Okay, so I took mine last because my story is not on the front page. Okay. I went to take my story and I saw an even more important story in my opinion. So the federal government advocates sign language as second national official language. Advocating, did not say they've signed anything yet. So the Minister of State for Education, Dr. Tanko Sonunu, has suggested that the Nigerian Sign Language be adopted as the second national official language outside English. This suggestion was made at the JAM event. That's the Africa Regional Conference on Equal Opportunity of Access to Higher Education in Nigeria. He's saying that this move will signal a major demonstration of empathy for a large number of Nigerians with hearing impairments, and that then he also said that he's unhappy with the challenges that people living with disabilities are facing, especially when it comes to access to education and economic opportunities, and this is in spite of all the efforts that have been made in that area, for learning and for employment. But I took this story because I believe strongly that he is right. Yeah. That if all of us decide to take that as a second language, it will make us more understanding of some of the struggles that people living with disabilities, especially those with hearing impairments, are living with. And
it's a give us a sort of empathy.
Yes, that's what he said.
What they're going through.
Exactly.
Yeah, we don't.
Beyond, it also makes it look cool.
Yeah,
I would love to learn,
like
honestly.
That.
Please.
Do your forehead like this.
I like that.
I like that, yes. I like that. All right, let's move on to likely our last paper for today, the Nigerian Tribune. PDP BOT meets Wike behind closed doors. That's major headline. You can't set Bauchi on fire. Government dares FCT minister. Only God knows what they are fighting about. 8 killed, 2,800 injured as Hezbollah fighters' pages explode in alleged Israeli attack. Let me find stories that we have here. Flooding, 250 persons at risk of being displaced in Kogi. Government warns. End banditry killings now. No room for excuses. Danjuma tells service chiefs. It's illegal for NNPCL to fix price of Dangote petrol. FG to unbundle 115 Unity colleges. Okay, so what stories do we have in the Tribune?
I'm taking the Oyo State story. So the governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, has he said he'll be flagging it off today. He's flagging off the project to upgrade the Ibadan airport, Alakia, to an international airport. It was released by the media, his media advisor, that's Sulaiman Olanrewaju. He said in a statement. He said that it's not just trying to compete with other people. It was a well thought of process, and that they're not just trying to do it because some other governors are doing something similar, that for them this would improve the economical standing of the state, that's Oyo State, and that it is following up on some of the upgrade they've already done. Currently, they have already installed a storage facility for about 500,000 litre of aviation fuel to be stored on ground, and they now want to upgrade the facility and increase the number of airlines that can come. But I know that the distance between that airport to Lagos Airport is less than 2 hours. You can actually make that journey, and the road is good, but if it makes economical sense to spend money on international airports in Ibadan, then the people would...
If it's going to bring in more money?
How about the traffic that happens and things like that? I think the more the better, as long as it's making economic sense.
Yeah, as long as it makes sense.
Yeah. Thank you, ladies. That's all we can take on the newspaper reviews. When we come back, we'll move on to the topics for today. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
As the morning light filters in, the Max Breakfast kickstarts your day from the bedside.
We bring you the morning vibe and plenty of ginger to start your day right.
Join us on the Max Breakfast as we help you through your day one step at a time. On Max, we've got the ultimate playlist for you. We give you back.
And all the biggest news from the world of entertainment. Only on Max.
What you got? What you get?
Lagos, Nigeria, you're welcome to the Max Drive.
Whether you're there for inside motor, you're there for inside traffic, it's there for you with the Max.
You know what it is. It's the Max House Party. We're on DJ Charlie Sheen. Let's go.
102.3 Max FM. Hit music for Lagos.
TerraCube is available in beef, chicken, jollof and shrimp flavors at attractive prices of 50, 100, 200 and 500 naira.
TerraCube, unwrap joy, unleash taste.
The world needs mums. With a splash of golden Terra oil, a mom can transform a frown into a smile. Change, no thanks, into yes please. Resolve family feuds without blowing or whistle. Providing tasty family meals is all that matters. Where there are moms, there is love. Golden Terra oil, or pure love.
So, if there are any other issues, please. Thank you, doctor.
If you snooze,
Now that is a physician consultant. My HMO Bastion offers telemedicine, which makes consultations with highly trained doctors to be possible. I got a healthcare plan that's right for me and my family. I have access to top quality healthcare services and facilities. We also get access to over 1,700 hospitals and clinics. Call 0800 Bastion Health, the HMO that puts
me and my sisters, hey, we got Tanda Gidigba for inside studio to give you now all the latest information.
Driving fancy cars. This has caught our attention, and on that premise we'll be looking at the ongoing debates and protests surrounding the increment of boarding fees. Thanks for staying with us. So parents are protesting over the increment of boarding fees. The Lagos State government has recently placed and have insisted that the awards will not resume until it's revised. However, the Lagos State government is also insisting to stay on the new boarding fee for 100,000 naira per term against the old fee of 35,000 naira charged each student of his model college across the state. According to them, the school doesn't charge tuition. They want the government to house and feed their kids with 300 naira daily while holding iPhones and driving fancy cars. This has caught our attention, and on that premise, we'll be looking at the ongoing debates and protests surrounding the increment of boarding fees for students of Lagos schools, otherwise known as model colleges. These increments is by 185.71%. So you can join the conversation and call us on 081-076-41679 or 0902-416-3440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect using the hashtag YourViewTVC. So, first of all, no vex. I had to pull the glasses because I was not seeing a long distance with it. I forgot, actually. So, I saw this protest ongoing, and I had to read a lot of comments. People are for and against. And now some persons are saying that times are hard now. Everybody needs to make an increment in their services. Any service that you offer, any product that you sell, it's only right for you to make an increment, because by the time you do your calculations, you find out that you will likely be losing out and not benefiting anything from that business. But on that side, this is also government support. You know, it's a government school, and government schools are actually supposed to be free. And some persons were worried that why did the boarding fee not also, since they are not paying tuition, why are they also not allowed to come into the school free while the government handles everything? And other persons are saying that these schools have rich people attending the schools, and they can afford to have their Range Rovers and have their iPhones. Why can't they afford to pay 1,000 per day if you calculate it? And you know, I think there's also the argument is just, yes, and I would like to hear your thoughts on it.
There's a lot of generalization on both parts. So there's generalization on the part of the parents who feel that, why can't the government, the conversation always starts with, government children are traveling abroad. Government children get to experience the best education everywhere. Why would they now starve the general populace to be able to afford basic quality education? And that's generalizing the fact that the government can't afford it and they choose to be wicked to the citizenry. Then there's the generalizing on the part of the government that everybody whose parents, every parent whose child is in a model college can afford to pay 100,000 naira and have smartphones that give them that life. Not true. I'm not in support of the government making this decision. And even while there are many logical reasons to back up why the government has increased school fees by over 185%, we have a clear problem with education in Nigeria. We have many children out of school. We have many dropouts on the streets of Lagos and the country entirely, that we must do everything possible to get more children in school and not anything that will take children out of school. Okay. And it will not be easy. It is about prioritizing. What is more important? Should I train my citizenry? Should I train the future of this state so that I will have less headache in future? Or should I tell them I can't help myself? A willing mind will find 1,000 ways, and a willing mind will find 1,000 excuses. There are legitimate excuses for the government not to pay, continue this subsidy, at least for now. You can come as a government and say that we want to raise the fee to 100,000 naira, but we understand that these parents are also facing the fact that they are paying petrol price which has gone up. Yeah. They are facing power prices that have gone up. They are facing inflation with food. They are facing so many challenges that are outside at the same time. So for us as a state, in understanding the plight of our parents, we are going to keep this price low, but we'll give you 1 year advance notice. Because right now people are being hit by left, right, center with bills that it's just annoying bills. Like you're wondering what's going on. Today is power, tomorrow is phone. That's like everywhere. So you are not putting that extra on the school fees from a government school. I can even understand private school is a business, but government school, no, there's no justification. I don't agree with it.
Okay, Ramatu.
Okay, so what I would just say is this. Because when I was coming today, I heard in the radio a lady was complaining. She said that the increase didn't come since. It just came when it was just 2 days to resumption day, and they had planned. But we all know, because of the way the economy was, going, we all know that schools were going to increase their fees. I think they increased the fees in my children's school as well. And also, the only problem I have is the fact that, yes, it's okay for government to increase, but tremendous increase, at least, they should just increase it a little bit. Don't make it too much that people will not be able to afford. And another thing that they're saying that in this school, there are rich people and also there are people who are poor that are in that school. So we must make sure that we give room, we put them into consideration when we are fixing this kind of prices, so that they'll be able to afford it as well. And that school, the model school, I know, they offer a certain kind of balance. That's why the rich people go to those schools. We don't just judge from the from rich children's kids. That's why they are saying, yes, that's why they are saying
in our own time. Continue.
Let's qualify it very well.
Let's qualify it.
Exactly. So they said because they're saying that they park big cars and all of that to those schools and all. But I know that a lot of those kind of schools, there's a kind of balance they give to children. First of all, let's talk about religion. They allow everybody to practice their religion. They do, the Muslim, the Christian. Then number two, there's balance between the poor and the rich. Everybody goes there, mix up. You can learn from them, learn from the rich, learn from the poor, everything. And again, those schools, you wash your clothes by yourself. You learn some basic learn house chores and all of that there, as in cleaning and all of that. So I think that's what attracts the higher class, to put their kids in those kind of schools. But that's not even a yardstick to start saying because rich people go to that school, they should be able to pay the 100,000 and not even fuse about it. And the idea of car, saying that they drive exotic cars and all of that. Car is not luxury the way we look at it in Nigeria. Car is a necessity. You understand? It's a necessity. You need it. And sometimes you can see the car is flashy and everything. Have you entered inside the car? Sometimes the car is not even really okay like that. And the fact that somebody has a car does not mean that he's not going through stuff.
Life.
It's not going through a lot as well. So people are going through stuff. So don't just judge based on the type of car the person is driving. The person should be able to afford and not complain. No, people are, even the rich, they go through stuff as well. So I think the government should just look into it and make the increase a little bit bearable so that the poor.
I like your thoughts, Ramat. Very interesting. Miriam, are you ready?
Yes, I am. So I have used this platform really to advocate for free education at primary and secondary school level, because I feel that at that level, every Nigerian child deserves an education. It should not matter your economic background, where you're coming from. Everyone should get an education. But I am also a Nigerian living in these times, and I know that things are hard. And one thing I also understand with my country is that where we insist for things to be free, it might also mean that the quality of that education will be nothing. What teachers are we going to now employ? Because if the schools cannot manage based on the low fees or free education that they are giving, they may not be able to pay teachers well. And so what quality of teachers will we be getting? What quality of infrastructure will our children be staying in times where insecurity is a major issue? What sort of quality of security do we think our children will be provided with if we insist on free education right now? I still feel that there's a middle ground, and the middle ground would be that, first of all, I need to address what you said earlier, which is the timing was wrong. That's not fair. Definitely, by the time a school term ends or a school year ends, you should already be talking to parents about the increment in your fees and likely the percentage, and parents and teachers, the Parent-Teachers Association with the school board will have that conversation and prepare themselves. You cannot tell a group of parents 2 days before resumption that fees have increased. It does not make sense. But now we've said that, right? We know that things are expensive. Nigeria, everybody's complaining. Health sector, there's no sector today that is not facing, some sort of hardship or the other. So for me, what I think may be the balance is we need to start looking at scholarships. It's true. Model schools, it attracts many people from diverse backgrounds. And a lot of people who have money, who can afford the school and more, go to those schools because of some of the amenities that you said and some of the culture of that school. Then there are some people that those are the schools that they can afford to go to, or else there's no education for them. So for those who cannot afford 100,000, can we have their list and make sure that we're able to provide scholarships for them? Then for those who are able to, no scholarship, whatever I see, they would ask you to give your parents, the requirement, they ask you to give your parents, account details and things like that. They check to make sure that you are eligible for scholarship so that you're not lying about it. So just for this time being, until the country figures itself out. And in figuring itself out, the long term for me is free primary and secondary school education for Nigerian children. There are too many Nigerian children left behind. And the future is scary because of that. Because when you let these children, they grow into adults, and they have no place to go to because they have not received basic education. That is my fear.
Become a problem.
Yes, they become a big problem. So government, please, long-term plan is free education. Mid-term plan, this period, this first term, I don't know how you're going to do it. If it's 2 days notice you have given them, you have to waive it. But by next year, parents should start thinking that prices are going to increase, and then let's talk about scholarships for children that can't afford this.
Okay, amazing. I like that. Let's take this caller if he's still on the line. Sonia from Surulere. Good morning, Sonia.
Yeah. Hello, good morning.
Can barely hear you. Need volume,
hello, good morning.
Good morning. You're live.
Okay. Yeah, concerning the challenge on hand. Hello?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm Koya, not Soya.
Okay.
Hello?
We can hear you. Give your thoughts, please.
Okay. You see, the problem at hand is very simple. As far as, we can be willing to look at it from all angles. The government should be willing to probably give these parents a little time to probably pay instrumentally, and then equally review what they call, the boarding fee from probably 100,000 say to like 70 or 75,000 naira, thinking that you can just take it up to like 180% is something that would not be meaningful now. However, the parents too should be willing and be ready to look at it from the angle of things are very expensive, and none of us as parents can confidently beat our chest that we can feed our own children at home with 300 naira a day. See, we all know the problem of insecurity in the country today. One, and that is the basic that I think the government is looking at. Then two, the feeding too. There is no way that any of these children would eat in the morning, afternoon, and at night, and will still be thinking 300 naira would do. In fact, ordinary biscuits for small puppies in nursery school is more than 100 naira. So if you are now thinking 300 naira, we should look at it and let everybody come together. We know the importance of basic education, and that is the reason why we shouldn't push these children out of school. And for parents that know that they cannot just afford this, then maybe some of them might have to just review this and see if their children will have to do the day program. Thank you.
Thank you.
You have not told us your own
thoughts. So, first of all, I believe that we need to redefine what it means to be rich in this country, because we confuse ourselves a lot with, seeing people who carry phones that probably they begged and contributed money from their family members to buy, and we assume that they are rich. If you're earning 500K in this current time, you're not rich a month.
At all.
Because by the time you add up all the bills that you are meant to pay, you are not rich. Even if you're earning 1 million naira in this time every month, you are not rich. Except, of course, you're not paying any bill. That money just comes to your account straight and you're sleeping on it. You're not rich. So when I hear rich people attend such schools, I wonder what kind of a rich man will allow their children stay in schools where you have over 100 people in a class. Because I know I went to one of such schools. We have over 100 people in the class. The toilets are not so, they are manageable. If you go, you see the facilities. They don't have some of the equipment used for modern education in these times. Everything is manual. And you say rich people attend such schools. So you may have a few people who probably have something. You wouldn't call them rich to be going to that school. The way they even drag the slots for that school, you should know. Right? That's on one hand. Secondly, as a government, and a government that is trying to, sort of help the poor, right? What I know is that most of the time the rich people are taxed more so that they can level up to take care of the poor. And with all the bills, like Tokwe rightly said from the beginning, electricity hike is there. We're still struggling with band A. Fuel is there. Subsidy is out. We are paying through our noses to get fuel. Food, we don't even have enough right now. And the prices are too exorbitant for Nigerians to pay for. And then a public school
who collects, the bare minimum just to put their students in school will now have such a quantum leap in such a short time without warning, like Mariam rightly said. It's not fair to Nigerians, right? And that's why a lot of them came out to protest. So ignore the fact that some of them have cars and some of them use iPhones. What's the percentage of the parents that have cars in such schools, that use iPhones in such schools, that carry SUVs? And so what's the percentage? Do you have a data to show us that, okay, out of this, 85% of you people are from very rich homes, so you can afford it? We know that the majority of people who go to those schools do not have enough. They scramble to be able to put their children through school. And I also like the point Mariam made. For primary and secondary school should be free through and through. And this is where I'm going to be calling on organizations and people who do charity. They're always looking for where to put money. These are some of the things that you do to support your people. You go to the public schools, ask them. Exactly. Ask them, what are the needs of the school? There was something that came to my mind, which I was saying, I'm going to walk into one police station close to me. Let me even ask them, what are the needs of this police station? What can I do? What can I gather my friends to say, okay, in this our police station close to us, so we don't have this, we don't have that, we don't have that. As individuals, you do that. We're constantly using money to do things that we don't need to do, while people are suffering and everybody just minds their business. But government has to do its part, because Nigerians are saying, and they're saying that, you are not cutting costs of government, expenses are going here, left, right, and center. You are shopping for this, you're buying this, today aeroplane, tomorrow cars, tomorrow furnishings, and all of that. And then the little way that you're sort of subsidizing education, basics for Nigerians, and you people are trying to squeeze. But we have a call on the line. From Ikorodu, good morning.
Good morning, DC. My name is Biola.
Good morning, Abiola.
Good morning.
Good morning. We can hear you.
Yes, Abiola. Please, I would like to contribute to this topic because I am affected. This is my first time of speaking. I attended a federal government college in Cross River State back then in the 1990s. But the thing is this, whatever we pay then as school fees includes feeding, textbooks, and uniform. Now, Lagos State wants to move boarding fee from 35,000 naira to 100,000 naira within 48 hours of notice. To me, that is ridiculous. Personally, I didn't pull my child out of a private school because I cannot pay school fees, but I am no longer getting what I want in terms of valued education. Because as we all know, private schools are managing, they are struggling like the health sector now due to this Japa syndrome. Most teachers have left the private schools as well. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Now, a teacher is taking 3 subjects, will leave the primary class and go to the secondary class. The lapses will be there. That is one. Secondly, for you to avoid a good private school where the standard still remains, you need to pay through your feet. I am a private business owner, and business, everybody knows everywhere, it's not moving like it used to be.
Yeah, true.
So you don't expect me to, I have 3 kids to the glory of God. You can't expect me to gather like 1 point something million now to pay on a child. What happens to the other 2? My business definitely will go down. So Lagos State to say they are going to 100,000 naira from 35,000 naira, where they have their own staff. Lagos State teachers have their kids in those model colleges. The 70,000 naira minimum wage has not been implemented, which I doubt if they've even set up a committee to start on that. And you want such a teacher to pay 100,000 that has 2-3 kids in that school on a 70,000 naira minimum wage, and you expect that kind of a teacher to teach properly in your public schools without doing a side also in the school affecting the children she's supposed to teach? However, let's put so many things into consideration.
Yeah.
I am not saying they shouldn't increase.
Thank you so much, Abiola, for your thoughts. We'll be taking a short break now. When we come back, the conversation continues. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen,
some say learning is fun, but as a mom, I see how demanding it can be for my child. That's why I ensure he starts every day with a cup of Bonvita. Bonvita. Prepare them to win every day.
You love that.
It's the Onga Taste the Millions promo with 250 million
Now my
naira worth
question.
of cash and prizes to be won to win. Buy any of the new promotional packs. Take one empty sachet of the Onga 90Q pack or 2 empty sachets of the Onga 50Q pack to the collection center and exchange the sachets for a scratch card. Scratch the card to reveal a unique code. Text the code to 1393. Promo runs from September to October 2024. Visit www.ongamillionspromo.com.
I think I'll drink.
It's not just soap.
Okay.
It's the refreshing
I've always
feeling
known
that
it
puts
as
you in
ISO.
charge.
I never bothered to know what it means. I know what it means, but I never
It's not just
bothered
soap.
to know what
It's the refreshing feeling that puts you in charge. Premier Cool.
Ready up your cool.
To prevent diarrhea and other diseases, especially in children, wash your hands with soap under running water, particularly after using the toilet, after cleaning your baby's bum, before preparing your baby's food, and before and after feeding your baby. If your child has diarrhea, give zinc tablets once a day. Every 4 hours or frequently in small sips from a cup, so that your child will replenish lost nutrients and regain strength. Also, visit the nearest health facility to get treatment for diarrhea. This message is from the ANRIN Project, Federal Ministry of Health.
Welcome to Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw ether material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move weigh in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty, erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting, as the arts are meant to be.
Yeah. So recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown.
Welcome back. We're still having this conversation, and I'd like to start off from where the last caller ended, where she talked about minimum wage. We know that most people who would prefer such schools actually work in civil service, and the fact that the 70,000 naira new minimum wage has not even been implemented. If you now have like 2 or 3 children who have to attend schools, where do you expect the people to see the money from? And also, I know that for such schools, they are government schools actually, and the teachers' salaries are paid from government coffers. It's not like it's the school that would have to pay for the welfare. Maybe the money they're collecting. No, I know. The money, aside from this particular one, I know schools like that, they still collect small money. That is not the tuition and all of that, but it's used for like small maintenance.
Pastoral.
Yeah, pastoral, thank you. Maintenance of the school and all of that. But the core of what is used is highly funded by government, and that is how it's supposed to be. And so when we are worried about probably insecurity, the welfare of the children, we should be directing the question to the government. What are you doing to improve the schools in your care? And also, what are you doing to ask people for help? Well-meaning Nigerians who probably have enough to fund and give scholarships. Are you making it open to them? Are you putting up a proposal to them to say, we the government, this is where we are stuck, this is the revenue that comes to schools like this, but we need this, we need that, and we need well-meaning Nigerians to come to our aid? Are we putting all of those out so that and also, aside from putting all of those out, are we also in our own trying to understand the times that we are in, cut the cost of government in a way that when you mention some of these increments, people are understanding and saying that we are all in this together. We are all together. But hold on, before we take this, we have a caller, Hassan, on the line, and then I'll come to Tope.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It's saddening for a Lagos state government to come up with this. It's much more of personalization of a sensitive matter. You see, we don't look at the implication of this. It will drag away a lot of children from schools. That's number one. And we don't know the societal, the social, and security implication of this. In Lagos State, we have problem with area boys. There are area girls also, because people don't talk about them. A lot of nonsense going on in the society. And it's attributed to not going to school. You see, school is not a favor by government. It's a social construct by government. It's part of political economy for government to provide it. And for us to now be saying that we need donation to do this, no. Let them channel it. No state in Nigeria is handicapped to run boarding schools. What we are seeing now is that we are seeing different people. In the past, we have people that have clear vision to move the society forward. And if we don't take care of that thing, I don't support taking it again for running the school. Be sincere in running the school. The most important thing is for them to have a sincerity of purpose. Lagos State government have all it takes. The problem we are having in this country is that we are teaching people, we are recruiting people from private sector to come and run our government. And they are now seeing it as a favor. It's never a favor.
Exactly.
To run a school is never a favor. It's a responsibility that must be done for any willing and responsible leader. Good morning.
Good morning, Hassan. You heard everything.
Yes, I heard him.
Okay.
But it's like he was talking about the fact that running a school is not a favor, and that because people have come from private sector, they might understand administration, but they don't understand governance and the responsibility of government. It's a different thing if that's what you studied, public administration. I've spoken to people that they did their masters or PhD in public administration. The thought is different. But even aside from that, Nigerians have, in the past 1 year, had to deal with so many things. In the past 1 year, the cost of power has increased by over 300%, and it was not planned, sudden. The cost of petrol increased by over 200%, sudden. As of today, the cost of petrol has increased by over 500% in the last 1 year. In the last 1 year, 500%. This same government is the same one that has given us petrol increase, power increase, then food. Official rate is 40%, but we all know how much bag of rice was before the addition came in, and how much bag of rice is now, how much yam, how much tomato. So you have people dealing with all of these issues at the same time, and then you bring an increase is a bit insensitive, and especially when it is coming at such a short rate, because technically people plan for their for school fees. You're supposed to like say, oh, my children are going to school, I've saved for the past 4 months, and then when children resume, we know that at this point in time we have paid school fees. Then you now find out at the point of resumption that you're paying over 185% more for school fees per child. God bless you. Get the shortfall God bless you. You have 4 children. How do you now handle? Like, what will you do? Yeah. So when they do that protest, the response of the government was a response of people that did not understand the pain of people, because you have the money as a person in power, and at that level, your salary and the emolument that comes with your position makes you comfortable. You don't understand the reality of the majority of population. Majority of Nigerians fall in the category of struggling. Yeah. There was an hunger protest. Why was there hunger protest? Because people were hungry. To eat. So when we are having this conversation, the people that are in leadership position need to understand the people they are leading. When you are so far from people you are leading, you can't even rationalize it. You're like, how much is bag of rice? 95,000 naira. Let's buy 2 bags because you can afford it. So you put that 95,000 naira is their salary.
So let me take this call and I'll come to Miriam. Kenneth from Okota. Good morning, Kenneth.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, please, I'm coming in respect of this issue. I disagree with Ramotu. Can you hear me?
Volume, please.
Yes, I disagree with Ramotu totally. There is no Richmond children in that school.
Okay.
No Richmond children in modern school. They are all people struggling to meet up. I remember my own child went to modern school here in Badagry. I'm just struggling to meet up. There is not a rich parent here. We are all much here. So seeing that car or seeing that what is it, a phone, iPhone. Have you been inside that car? Most of the cars are baby carriers. They are baby carriers. Nothing. So I don't know if there is any way the government can make this education affordable and accessible to us. I think we will appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Kenneth. Miriam.
Okay, yeah. So I mentioned earlier when I was speaking that when we push for free education, knowing Nigeria, for most across sectors, any institution that is supposed to provide free services to Nigeria, somehow we leave the quality of those services from those sectors very low. And that was what I mentioned. That's when I mentioned salaries of teachers, insecurity, food for the children. The truth is, the government will tell you, because we don't have a lot of money, because we're going through this economic downturn, we cannot afford to give you the quality of education that your children need. Unless you're able to give us this, meet us a little way to help us give you better quality of education. So I understand that government owns the schools, but government also needs to be funded to be able to do some things like that. So when I say that, it's not to say the school is supposed to pay for teachers. It's to say that I understand our system. This is how we work. Many already, even before this economic downturn, how many of us have visited model schools and seen the state that they're in? Even with budgets showing that money is going out to those schools. So the reason also why a lot of parents don't put their children there is because they haven't trusted government over time to put in the resources that these schools need for the infrastructure, for the schooling, for the teachers, for the feeding. Now, I understand that this 100,000 is going towards making sure, that I'm sure that the infrastructure is even a little clean and nice for them, that they are going to eat well. So that's why I'm saying, on the one hand, I get it. I see why government is asking for that. Because the 35,000 that you used to, as we know, it will go nowhere, nothing, But you are right, especially our last caller, a lot of people are going through a tough time. We are going through hardship. And for me, what I see a dilemma. I see a dilemma right now. But I think that government can take the steps that they need to, alleviate it a bit. And as I said, scholarship is one way to go. I like the point that you made about well-meaning individuals, corporate bodies that have always supported government in one way or the other. All our billionaires, we see some of the things that you're doing. But what is critical today for me, I think, is education. We need more support in those areas. And please don't treat our parents as if they have money just stuck somewhere. You must give us enough notice for us to raise money to send our children back to school. But above all, times are tough for government, for everyone. And what that means, it does not now, for me, does not mean to government, okay, things are tough for government, so, you get a pat on the back. It means that for all those things, for all those places where we're losing money because of our negligence and inefficiencies and not putting our eye on what we're supposed to put our eye on, so we're losing, there are loopholes here and there. It's time to cover that up and start making sure that all the monies that we have, we tie them together and please push them in the sectors that are needed. Education, health, quality of our teachers. We keep complaining about the quality of our teachers. How many model schools are doing consistent training of their teachers? This sort of training encourages other people to come as well. So there's a lot of work. See, in Nigeria, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And I'm happy that we're discussing like the most important things. We have hidden behind crude oil money for a long time. Now our eye don't clear, as they say. There's no money anywhere. So we're now looking through our corners in our house, in our pockets, and now we're asking, remove all the money anywhere and put them where it's needed. And now that we have a refinery on ground, we heard that there's going to be, improved currency rate. I hope that the money that we're saving, because we now have a refinery on ground, working refinery, where we're spending a lot less to buy, we're saving money, from buying petrol from this local refinery, that will be saved towards education and towards health.
Yeah, we have another call on the line. Tina, good morning.
Good morning. My own suggestion is, for now, because these schools have enjoyed privilege in the past when things were right, and the other public schools did not enjoy it. But now they are carrying foul because it's going to touch them because they are privileged citizens. People might not agree with me on this, but what government did is not the right thing to do as of now. Probably they meet themselves halfway, or take a drastic decision, tell all the parents, sit down and say, okay, for now, until things changes, let everybody be coming from home every day. Like other students in Lagos State.
Come from, yeah.
So that they can feel the privilege they enjoyed in the past. Now, I'm not. My one suggestion is that they should meet themselves halfway. Not that, because we know today, and government have other things to spend money on. We should just be realistic. Everybody believes that because it is government, if they don't have any other thing, they should just put money onto just some privileged few. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so to be realistic, right? We all know that it may not happen. All I'll just say is that the fact that the government increased it is too much. I think all of us, we all know that at this point in time, they are going to increase a lot of things. So I think all parents, we should have been ready for this kind of increment. Yes, the increase is too much, but at least the government should reduce it in a way that, because when somebody did the breakdown, there's 300 naira. We know that that's not realistic.
At all.
It's not realistic. So somehow, if we sit down and say we're waiting for government to do this and do that and all, we've seen so many times that the government does not come through. So now let's face reality.
This one is where
what is the way forward?
Like this is their area of specialization.
This is the area of specialization.
Mariam said she saw. Well, we all see things in different way. Mariam saw dilemma in the decision.
Yes.
I saw hypocrisy in the decision. I saw hypocrisy of a group of people who are privileged and assume every other person is as privileged as them, or majority is as privileged as them. When Mariam was like, the reality of our time, it's a perspective. I saw insensitivity on the part of our leaders to make such a decision. And it is important that we address it. I know that the majority of Nigerians have enjoyed subsidy in many areas we were not aware of.
Yes.
Nigeria is a highly subsidized nation. Yeah. We've always enjoyed subsidy with power at least and as well as petrol. And removing that subsidy in just a false, this is the reality. We cannot continue like this. You remove all the subsidy. It was a huge shock. Yeah. And they've been giving it to us like this. No, this administration, they've been doing is a shock. They're just buzz every day. Like you just turn here, you're seeing the reality of, and the government to tell you, this is the reality. I cannot continue like this. We've done this for so long. Corruption has done, but we are also seeing the same government in expenses that are not justifiable, carry out unjustifiable expenses. So that's the hypocrisy. So if you're telling me to suffer, you're not doing the same thing. And the majority of them, how many of our high-ranking officials have children in any model college? Many of them boldly flaunt their graduation of their children from universities abroad, and they post it online in celebration. We celebrate with you, don't worry. The good things that you are enjoying, we too will enjoy it. But when you do that, you are held to a higher level. And you can say you earned your money from private sector before coming into governance. But once you come into politics, you are meant to make huge sacrifice for the people you are serving. Yeah. And every reality, every question, every rationalization you can make, it is just 100,000 naira for 100 days, 1,000 naira per day. How can it feed somebody? I don't know how you want to do your calculation. All I know is we want to have children in school. And what you have done now, you take children out of school.
I agree with you, but I want to narrow this down a bit. The model colleges are just Lagos State, Abi? Is it just Lagos State? It's the federal state.
Yeah, but this one.
But this one that was increased
speaking of
was just Lagos State, right? Now, I understand how states can be looking at their budget to say, we're taking on more than we can actually handle, and we have to find a way to cut it, right? In the sense that we have in our schools, because of probably the quality of the schools, years gone by, a lot of people from different other places want their children to school in this. And now we have a lot of children in our hands, and with the resources that we are getting, because of everything that's happening at the moment, we cannot cater for all of them. There's a way they do it when you go outside your place of work or your place of stay to school. You have fees meant for indigents, fees that cater for the poor people in the state who are supposed to be the primary beneficiaries of that state, indigent fees. Then we have fees for people who are coming from other places, whose own will be slightly higher or majorly higher, depending, compared to the indigent fees. Can they look at it in that way?
They do that.
Yeah,
well, I don't know for this.
Yes, I'm not aware, because I think the 100K they talked about is like a blank for everybody that's
boarding house.
For the boarding house. But can they look at it? So if you're, and that's why data is very important. You have data of the people who are from these states who are getting into the schools, the indigent people, you have their parents' salary, and just have a way of those metrics of knowing that these people actually need this. And then they have their own fee. And then for people who are coming from other states who have their own fee, which will be higher than the people who are the primary beneficiaries of that state. Could that also help to cushion the effects of this, so that it's not like a blanket, we're increasing from 35,000 to 100,000 in this?
No, but if it's fees for something that they all enjoy within the school. So remember, it's not fees it's not tuition.
Yeah, no.
So maybe you're in that school, if it has to do with feeding, if it has to do with like boarding services, that one has to be uniform.
Should it?
Yes.
No, because
so that
have indigent
everyone.
It's not about, life is not fair. Let's be realistic about this. Life is not fair to anybody.
But we're asking for fairness.
And the caller said they should go to day school. There are some schools that you cannot go to day.
Yes, hold on. We cannot even have fairness in this, because if all the states were doing what they are supposed to do, I don't know why I have to send my children to Sokoto to go and school if I'm living in Maiduguri. I'm just saying now. We had a reason for going to those schools. Yes. Your parents had a reason for sending you to those schools. I didn't go away from home because the school in my own vicinity was doing well. But we had people coming in terms of infrastructure and everything. They could have, if the school was not up to par at the time we were schooling, they would have sent me out.
Okay.
There's a reason why people send their children to certain schools.
Yes.
Now, if every state has that standard, that measurement of, what the metrics we're looking for sending our children to school, at least one school in your state has that sort of standard. I don't think every parent in your state will choose to send their children out of your state. So everybody needs
this one, majority of them are negotiations.
Be held responsible in this. But let's take Precious. I don't know if you guys understand me. Precious. Oh, sorry, Precious.
Okay, but there's something the caller said.
Let me just add this now, right? That's what I'm saying. Life is not fair to everybody, and the easier we accept it, the better for us to understand that some things may give. So whether it's everybody that is using the boarding house, I'm schooling in my state, for instance, I should have the fact that this is my state and I have some benefits of schooling in my state.
Let's say all of you in your state are in your school. So who will pay the expensive?
Extra?
No, people will always go to other places.
Exactly. So when you say, why are people sending people to other schools?
Okay, just to hire. Also, like one of the callers said that most of the people that go to model schools are poor people. I disagree with that, because I also have some friends who their kids go to those kind of schools. They are, just like you said, just like what BC said, there are reasons why people take their kids to certain schools.
Yeah, true.
So you see, like for her, she took her child to that school because she wants the child to know how to pray very well, and then be able to mingle with the rich and the poor, be able to that kind of life, so that you don't know what the future holds. You may be rich today, and then sometimes we've seen a lot of times that people will be rich and then they come down, and then some will be poor and then they go up, and then there should be fair treatment. We went to federal schools and we knew how we didn't care whose father was there, we mingled and nobody cared. We drank gari, we did everything, provisions, we brought a certain amount of provisions to school, we shared, we did our food was very small. Up till today, I can bathe with paint bucket of water. I can bathe and I will bath very well. But you see, my kids can't do that. Yes. So those are the reasons why some parents take their kids to those model schools. So I would say they should be fair, because the government school, everybody should pay the same amount. Yeah. We should all pay the same amount, regardless of where you're coming from. I should get that benefit. But the only thing is, if it's federal, I agree. If it's state, the state has a choice to say, if you're coming from outside my state, you pay a little higher, because the amenities that I have. Why is UK quarreling now that Nigerians have gone there to finish
and other immigrants have gone there to finish everything, the resources that they have for their people. So if it's your state, you can say, because this is state managed,
also we know how schools
you have to pay a bit more when you're coming in from another state.
That's good, but I think that works as well. But I also think that
we have
most
to
admissions...
When we come back, we'll take your thoughts. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
The month of September, it is dedicated to childhood cancer awareness. On the 8th of September is the International Literacy Day. On the 9th of September is the International Day to Protect Education from Attack. The 10th of September is the World Suicide Prevention Day, while on the 11th of September is the remembrance of the bombing of the World Trade Center in the United States, popularly known as the 9/11. On the 15th of September is the International Day of Democracy. On the 16th of September is the International Day for the Preservation of the Ozone Layer. The 21st of September is the International Day of Peace. The 23rd of September is the International Day of Sign Languages. The 26th of September is the World Maritime Day and the International Day for the Total Elimination of Nuclear Weapons. On the 27th of September is the World Tourism Day. On the 29th of September is the World Heart Day. Stay tuned to TVC News for this reports and analysis.
TVC News, first with breaking news.
Meet Benga Oreshegun, a fearless voice and an advocate for the truth. He's bringing fresh energy and bold insights to journalists' hangout.
Get ready for deeper analysis and dynamic perspectives. Join me and Babajide Kolade Otitoju with other veteran journalists on Journalists Hangout. Weekdays from 5 p.m. and on Sundays 1:30 p.m.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
We are TV Station of the Year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Good morning, Marina Station and all the passengers. Efficient, it's comfortable.
This development will go a long way in reducing congestion and emission.
The trains are a long-term solution to Lagos traffic challenges.
This is where we take the final, decisions on policies, programs of government. I will have to ensure that, the narration of Lagos as a PLC is taken very, very seriously.
This is a major pedestrian bridge linking Oyingo here to Apapa Road over there.
With this overpass, we are providing what we call a permanent solution.
This place is one of the most dangerous areas at the biosecurity environment.
This can go into the news and every crimes of your neighborhood.
Our goal is to remain as Africa's model megacity, to move our GDP from the 5-6 position to the 3rd position, and we believe is achievable with all the commitments we have.
Explore the city of Lagos, where dreams are made and possibilities are endless.
Thanks for staying with us. Joining us now is a digital communications and marketing expert. She will be discussing what employability would have to look like if undergraduates and fresh graduates understood how to prepare and position for opportunities even before they hit the job market. She'll also be giving key lessons that people can apply to attract meaningful job opportunities and how to make our graduates employable. Welcome with us, Ofon Emmanuel.
Thank you very much.
Yes, but before we come to you on what we just talked about, I wanted us to wrap up the conversation of before, right? And everybody has given their thoughts on education, the increment that has happened. Some of us have said that the timing was short for the model boarding fees to be moved from 35,000 naira to 100,000 naira. Some of us here have said that with everything Nigerians are going through, this is not the time to do that. And some have suggested what the government should be doing going forward, give the parents enough time to, pay the money, find a way to open up what they need for the schools and get well-meaning Nigerians to come in and help. And hopefully we'll monitor that conversation to see how it's going and probably the end of the protest that's happening and how government is going to resolve the conversation. We wish them, the parents of the model colleges, we wish them all the best, and we hope that government hears their cry and chooses to do better by them. And that's it on that. So, Ofon Emmanuel, employability of graduates. I've always had a concern, even before I started employing, that many of the graduates we were churning out from our schools were not ready to be employed. And that was because I realized that there was a disconnect between the employers of labor and the schools in question. So we get into school, we pick up subjects, any. Maybe you wanted to read this one, they say, no, don't read that one, or your cutoff mark did not get you there. Yeah. You pick something, you read, and there's no end goal to where you can work with what you're reading. There's no preparation from school on, your ability to be able to be ready for where you're going. You just come out and then you're flying CV everywhere. In fact, when I graduated from school, there's nowhere we did not send CV to. Exactly. We hear on TV, we send, newspaper, we send, we're just saying anyone that comes. Yeah. But I just chose to go through teaching because I felt I would be having a family soon and I needed time to step back and raise the family. But I had friends who did not know anywhere. Construction site, they'll drop CV. Bank, they'll drop CV. This one, they'll drop CV. And sometimes when they now get the job, they realize that they do not have the skill set for the particular job. So tell us, how can students begin to have the skill set? And where do you think the problem is originally before we now talk about the solutions?
Okay, so I believe that the problem is from families. Conversations are not hard enough. So we hear that if you go to school, you will get a job when you graduate. Your parents want you to go to school. They spend the money. They push you to go to school. You pick any subject if there's a delay. Like for me, there was a delay. I wanted law. The law department lost accreditation. And so my father just said, philosophy is close to law now. Just do it. And so I went to do law. But then there was no plan. Even though I, was an intelligent student in secondary school, there was no plan. So when you finish studying philosophy, then what? And that's some questions, at least once in a day, I get these kinds of questions from undergraduates, entry-level people, trying to find out what to do after school. And it's heartbreaking because you would see really smart people that could have done better, but are unable to go so far because they didn't have those conversations in their family. So let's leave the families. Let's say your parents didn't know enough. And let's move ahead. What about you? There has to be a plan because I see people leave school and there's no plan. People focus on reading their books. They finish with first class, 4.5. GPA. They are hot in school, but then they get cold after school because there's confusion. They don't know, okay. So I have conversations every day with people, especially people who are just coming into the job market. And I'm like, what do you want to do? They're like, I don't know, any office work. Yeah, well. That's the problem.
Any work will be work.
Exactly. You don't know what have you been doing for 4 or 5 years in school.
Reading.
You have to know. And I know sometimes it can sound really hard because your focus was to study and pass. But you have to know because this is no longer the Nigeria of those days that people would say when you leave NMPC will be waiting for you. You know, we heard all those stories from our parents that they'll be waiting for you. Once you finish first class,
come and catch you.
Give you.
Yes.
And you travel abroad, go and study, all of that, come back and then work for them. Sounded so nice, but it no longer happens. So you have to have a plan for yourself from school. I hate to break it, that you cannot wait till after school to start thinking of it.
What you want to.
You have to have a plan, and not just have a plan, you also need to start working towards the plan. Because I know a lot of people come out and then they see job opportunities, 10 years of experience, and they want to pay you 50K for 10 years of experience. And you're thinking, I am just 23, I'm just leaving school. Where do I get 10 years of experience? But I believe that you can gather experience even before you leave school. Tangible, relevant experience that you can use to then apply for proper jobs when you leave school. So,
okay, so I'm a 16-year-old or 17, or if we go by government, 18-year-old, and I'm in university. And university really wasn't my choice, but my parents said you must go and school, you know. And I still haven't really figured myself out. But I'm in university. The only thing I know is to read and pass. And then I finished, let's say, 4 years. God willing, I went to a private school and not a federal school, you know. So I finished in time, on time. And then, are you saying to me that by the time I finish, it's too late? Or is there a time when I have graduated that I can just start retracing myself and thinking about, okay, what can I do?
So I wouldn't say too late because God's time is the best. But then, why wait till you finish when you can start? So I use myself as an example. Not that I had a plan, but I had always written, spoken in school, published things, published for magazines. It was something I was already doing. So I already had experience. So if you ask me how many experience do you have, I can tell you I have 15. Because I have been doing this for proper organizations from, you know, when I was in school, even before I got admission. So there are things skills that you have now, even as a 16-year-old, things that you can do to offer value, because it's value begets value. To get that experience. And I know many people don't want to hear about volunteering internship opportunities because they're like, they don't pay so well. So how about you start while you do school? Because I promise, school is not the only thing you want to be doing.
I agree. Trust me.
You don't want to be doing just school. You don't want to graduate with a first. I have seen so many first-class graduate, and they don't know the first thing about sending an email.
Wow.
Yes. So you want to make sure that
waste of potential.
Exactly. So you want to make sure that you're not just doing school, because trust me, you can write all the papers, do well, and then you are nothing to employers. So you're so smart. You're very intelligent, but nobody can even employ you. So as a 16-year-old, what do you see in your life that you need to start doing?
Okay.
So if you're a good writer, where are you writing? Who are you writing to? How can you gather all of those experiences now so that you can add it and pad it up on your CV and say, I've done this,
I've gotten this experience.
Okay, so on your profile, I can see that you're a digital marketing expert.
Yes.
Right? Okay, so what are the available opportunities in that industry?
Okay.
What are the opportunities that are available in that industry? Can you tell us?
Yeah, so there's so many opportunities. In fact, it's so wide. Marketing and communications is so wide. But I usually say start from everywhere within the marketing and communications space, because you can't niche down too early. You can't say, oh, I want to do only paid ads and this is it, because there are opportunities everywhere.
Sorry, can you just even tell us, what is this marketing and communications?
Okay, great. So marketing and communications is generally everything that has to do with helping an organization move from zero to a point where they are not only known, they can begin to get some income for whatever product or service that they offer. So whether it has to do with PR, publishing on newspapers to say, oh, this company is a great company, you should work with them, or influencer marketing, or digital ads to set up your social media marketing campaigns, or programmatic ads to say, hey, we have this product you should buy. Everything in between, from writing the content, the copy, producing the video, partnerships to make sure that those things go out, is marketing communications.
Okay, amazing.
So the opportunity breakdown.
Then the opportunities. So the opportunities. always start with what is easy for you, what is natural to you. So if you're a natural writer and people have said you are good at it, then you should start there. So it means that you can be a good content writer. It means that you can be a good technical writer because you know how to write. So always start with what you already know, and then you move to the unknown.
What you're already naturally gifted at.
Yes.
Okay.
So I love, this is my jam. I love talking about growth and career opportunities and options that are available. And I think many people think there are no options because they are not aware of the options. So I love that we're having this conversation. And I feel that we tend to blame our universities a lot, but we haven't really created a structure to enable employability. We've only created a structure for education. We want to just let you know. Yes, we want you to know what you're doing, but we're not really thinking about how you will solve the problem. And I remember one of my...
Schooling and not education.
Yes, schooling and not education. That's a better word. Akanimo used to talk about the importance of integrating town and gown so that the current needs of the society is what the university is providing. So we are not just educating, we're not producing a lot of banking and finance. When we don't need banking and finance graduates, what we need is engineering, because we know that we want to expand in that area. Do you think that the advocacy targeting the students is an appropriate one, or we should target the advocacy for employability to the schools, to policymakers, to create the structure that would help bring the employability index higher?
Okay, so I'm very intentional, so I usually say you have to start with yourself. Before we begin to talk about policies, structures, people doing it for you, you have to do it for yourself first. So yes, I agree that institutions should begin to take that on. So you would find more entrepreneurship courses. There are courses in school. It's not the real thing. So you find more, even in secondary schools. I know that I've spoken to secondary school students and she said, oh, they are doing entrepreneurship in school. She has to start a business. I'm like, that's great, but it's still school. You actually need to get your hands dirty. You actually need to start applying. Because I usually say if you have never applied and if you have never gotten an interview before, you will mess up, because you don't have the experience. So yes, you're learning all these things. These institutions are trying to provide, but there's you. And you have to do the work.
So there's a guy I stumbled into yesterday. Oh my God, very hilarious. He's a young boy. I think he just finished his 100 level in a private university, and he's a content creator. Only for me to realize that, one, he's a drummer in church. He sews, he's a tailor. Like he made several outfits he was wearing on Instagram. You know the person, Abi. He made his clothes so he could sew. He can drum. He volunteered in church, and this is someone, and he's already creating content that is very engaging, and he's just finishing 100 level.
So let me pause you a bit. So we have an announcement. TVC News will be joining a live broadcast, but your view continues on YouTube, TVC Entertainment, and other platforms.
Okay, so I feel that maybe the advocacy
by Dr. Ali Modibo, former Minister FCT, and presently Special Advisor to the President and Special
build a team and he can create content. But here's my question. How do we get parents to release their children with this challenge of kidnapping, insecurity? We don't want our children to get abused in the places they are going to, and the parents is looking at it that, let me just go to school, come back, because I don't want any other thing that can happen to happen.
Is this for you?
I'm wondering. Because I understand the security issues, but when it has to do with getting ready for employment, it has to be, yes, the children need to get ready, but then the parents have their work to do. And if you're a parent listening, you should know that it does you no good to hold on to those children.
Let me help you there, because I'll also ask you a question. So growing up, our parents had an idea of what would pay, right?
So they'll tell you the medicine, you have to be a lawyer, you have to be a teacher, you have to be a banker. Those are professions that they know that at least you have a semblance of a life. You have a good paycheck that takes you from point A to point B. Ready job waiting for you, no stress there. Now we came out from such, and we are getting into a life where skill sets matter. It's not about the qualifications that you have. What can you do is what an employer is saying. How do you solve this problem that I have in my office? Simple and short. And now we still have a lot of parents who are still hell-bent on choosing, because I want you to give this advice to them right now, on choosing what their children should study based off of the ideas that they have. Okay, your brain is good for maths, you must be a medical doctor, whether the child wants to be a medical doctor or not. And then you get to a point where you're finished with your certificates as a medical practitioner, medical doctor, and then you want to go and cook. It's not giving you joy anymore. Yeah. And so how do we get, because for you to be able to build experience at a very early age, you know what drives us now at that age? You know, I'm still part of them. Now we're still very early. It's dopamine rush. And for you to get that constant dopamine rush to continue doing what you're doing, you have to love what you're doing. And so how do we get our parents to understand that they should start directing the children and having conversations with them about school based on what they want to do when they are done? Just break it down for them.
So I will begin from parents, please listen. I will begin from what you see your children already doing right now. Immediately you see them doing those things, you know, they either have a passion or they have a skill. So it's either an interest or a strength. Please try to help them nurture it. Because in nurturing it, they will find out even some parts of that interests that they don't really want to
like.
do. So please help them. You can coach them, guide them, introduce them to career conversations really early, because they'll begin to think, this thing that I really like, you know, they pay, because they can like it, but then realize that opportunities are not so much, so let me do this one instead. But in coaching them, you allow them to fly, because right now, I know the new one is tech.
And they are forcing them to do. I said my son said he does not want. My son was like, I don't want to do ICT in school. It's just so boring. I'm like, but ICT, like your brothers like it. He was like, I don't want to do. I just want to do chess and swimming. Like there's robotic, there's ICT. You choose chess and swimming for extracurricular activities.
So I was going to say, sorry, are you done? Should I?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so I was going to say, I was actually having this conversation with my mom yesterday, and we were talking about how when we were growing up, what I noticed was that our parents had, what I would say, they had jobs that they thought were important jobs, and jobs that they would say to you, God forbid, you will never do this. So it was the things like tailoring, cooking, acting, you know? And so a lot of us grew up wanting to do the jobs that we thought were more important,
prestigious.
Yes, for us. But we didn't have any interest in it. Then what I'm seeing in the younger generation is that for them, there's no job that is a bad job. You know, as long as I have interest in it, my tailoring, what you call tailoring, is now fashion designing.
Yes.
So what you call cooking, I'm now a chef.
Fashion and James and chef.
Those are the things. Yes, what you call carpenter is now a furniture maker. You know,
sounds cool.
Yeah, sounds cool. But what I'm saying is, you started this by saying a lot of the times the issues we have start from family. And I agree with you, because to a large extent, our parents only know what they know. You know, so where can I go as a 16-year-old listening to you? Like, who can I go to? What resources are there that I can go to so I can learn what you have learned or you're trying to teach beyond listening to you, and empower myself and educate myself so I can make better career choices as I go along?
So you can find lots of schools and resources online, but this one thing I always recommend, in the things that you're interested in, let's say you're interested in marketing, there's one free platform that everybody should be on, which is LinkedIn. Okay. And on LinkedIn, you would find people who are already operating in your 5-year plan. They're already operating in your long-term goal. So what should you do? Because first of all, it's free to reach out to people. Please, reach out to people to seek mentorship or seek resources. Or internship. But then don't just go to people without anything. If you want marketing as a long-term goal, what are you already doing? Are you already writing copies for people? Do you already have a stack of sample of works that you've done for people? You need to approach people who are already, with something, so that they see, oh, this is what you've been doing. This is great. You can improve.
What if I don't have anything? What if I'm just hearing this now? What are the steps I need to start taking so that I have something to show finally to someone that I've reached out to?
Udemy. Udemy. So I always say there are free courses. I could recommend 1,000 paid courses right now, but there are always free courses. Because if you don't even start, if you reach out to me, say, hey, often I'm trying to learn so and so thing, but I've registered on Udemy and I don't think it gives me this view. Can you recommend another course? I'm happy to.
Okay.
Because there's something you're already doing to show some seriousness, and it is really important. You don't walk up to somebody who is already operating in your dream to offer nothing to them, to say, oh, mentor me.
Yeah.
It's not going to work.
I also feel to answer that, to address that a bit, is the fact that when you send your CV and the only thing that is in your CV is your university and all of that, it's a very bland, unimpressive
Your hobbies.
CV. Yes. I think that your CV should include your volunteering in church or like your everything. If somebody even puts that while she was serving, she was the she coordinated the market. They had a Mami market stuff and she was in charge, and she put it as a sales experience.
Yes.
And I was like, this is amazing. Yeah. It's everything you do qualifies and embellishes your CV. But as parents, and I think most of it right now, we have probably more parents watching us, that it behoves us to help our children to see what they cannot see by themselves.
You are exposed
by this conversation as they've heard it now. Because I have a girl, she's 18 in my office, and she started working with me when she was 16. Her dad actually saw me on TV, knew I was doing real estate, and said, this girl has graduated. I don't want her to do anything. Let her come and she wants to study law, and I feel, I don't know a law firm close to me, but you are doing real estate, she might get a bit of exposure. She has, in terms of commission, if she has not made 5 million naira in commission, she's 18. I'm sure it will be just a little to reach 5 million naira. And this girl, she's just about to get into Unilag to study law, but she's gotten that exposure. At the point she wanted to even explore tailoring. She resigned last year and went to learn tailoring because people were advising her that go and have handwork skills. And she went there and realized she wasn't enjoying it. So she sent me a message to say, can I still be doing online with the numbers? And she's been earning money from that. So you might think it is tailoring or hairstyling or shoemaking.
Then you start and find out that this is not for me.
But that's exposure. Parents, you must put your children, they must idle hands. They must be doing something.
And at the same time, some people, they are not cut out for skills. Please, let's make that clear. Sure. So some people are not cut out that, they must have a skill or something. Some people will actually go to school and make something out of it. Like, for example, I always give this example. Like the Indians. Once they give birth to you, they already know the course you are going to do. They already
pick it for you.
Yes, they'll pick
it.
Yes, maybe the father is the managing director of his company because they've established their business. Yes. Maybe the father is the managing director of a business. Then the wife is the deputy director. There's the elder brother with the mechanical engineer. Another one will come and they'll tell you are going to read accounting. Just prepare, and then from that childhood they'll start preparing mentally so that he will tilt towards that accounting and make sure that he gets a degree in accounting. And once he gets that degree in accounting, he comes and works in the company, and that's it.
And he does well, and it's also okay.
So everybody has a way of they just make sure that is in their family. It's something that you already have a course that is waiting for you. So those ones, I'm just trying to say that it's not
just handwork.
Yes, it's not just handwork.
Because now there are soft skills.
Yes.
So it's not just handwork.
That's also intentionality. So families that are really established are very intentional from the beginning. So they find a way to put that interest in the child. And because, say, when at day market they shout, I carry you belle, I gave birth to you shouting. You already were shouting from the womb. So it becomes a natural ability for you to just pick up on that. So I think the general advice is just to, first of all, understand the strengths and weaknesses of your children. If a child is constantly struggling with a particular subject, I think it doesn't make any brain to keep pushing that child in that direction. Find other things where the child is gifted in. And you as a young person too, that you know what you want to do. And even if you do not know, start asking yourself, what do I want to do in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, when I leave this certificate, what do I really want to do? What makes me happy at the end of the day?
Let me ask you a question, please. I know I've been contributing to that, I don't ask a question, but this one is actually a question. Because I want you to help, let's say, some graduates that are struggling with getting employed on the easily overlooked skills that people have that they could monetize, but they don't know they could monetize. Because right now I'm paying a copywriter that I have never seen. I've not met her one-on-one, but she's earning good money from me. And I didn't even think before I met her that I needed a copywriter. So are there other skills like that?
I mean, right now, people now know that, oh my God, I can earn from literally anything. There's some skills like chatting. Yes. Online. You chat with some people, provide provide some companionship.
And they pay.
Yes, not anything.
I've gone up.
No, not that time. Not that time. But I'm saying that
to provide companionship.
Every time you see something
when people need someone to
enjoy,
talk to, and you just listen. You're just listening, and you're
not doing that one.
It's already coming here. I want to set up one.
But generally, another one is voiceovers. There are people that once they talk, you ask them, "Do you sing?" Because you already know. So don't take it for when people over compliment you on a skill, on something, you know you should be cashing out on that.
So there's one now I want to even set up where you come and get a hug. A lot of people are not hugged.
Yes. For how much? Their hug staff.
Put my price first now before I announce.
Yes,
you are there to provide that comfort, that hug for a few minutes. Not up to 1 hour, a few minutes, and you get paid for it. It's a service.
On Instagram now.
A lot of people don't collect hug.
Okay, I was going to continue.
Finally, we're wrapping up.
All right. So every skill, every interest that you have, I strongly believe that God intentionally puts it there in you. So don't take it for granted, because when people say, oh, I have so many potentials, I'm multi-potentialite, I'm like, you are also multi-influential. So it means that it's not just potential, you can actually cultivate it to make sure you're making impact and making money
at those levels
from all of those skills put together. So you will not only be a 9-to-5er who is a marketer, you will be an event host who can use her voice to make money. You will be everything that you want to be, but then you have to be intentional about cultivating all of those skills and interests.
You're speaking my language. All right, that's all we can take on the show today. I hope you guys have learned one or two. We'll be seeing you again tomorrow, so do have a lovely time now. Bye-bye.